Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Business, and welcome to Ships and Giggles number 36, which is a lot of Ships and Giggles. So, I'm just gonna get into it. I love beating the shit out of Cabroths. Nothing better to me than just railing away with a Minotaur against one, because they die so quickly, and everything dies quickly when you're giving a Minotaur some broadside there. But it felt really good to have that range dialed in, and these guys were pestering us on the flank here, and I said, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna go after them. They got a bit too close, and there's the Shimakaze down here. It looks like the Baltimore is going to be pressing in. There's only 2 torp spreads from the Shimakaze there, so we still have to watch out for the third one, of course. So just waiting to see at what angle the Baltimore is going to be coming out when the Shimakaze appears broadside, and look at the dispersion on that. So damn near half his health gone on the first salvo, and it takes a 4th salvo to get good dispersion again, and he's gone. Just like that. And what cracks me up is people still complain about Battleship AP against destroyers. That's crazy to me. But the Baltimore doesn't look like he's running rudder shift. It didn't look like he made any attempt to get the hell out of the way of those torps. So, you know, that's how you go from full health to nothing in a matter of seconds. Gotta be careful against this shit, man. Always expect an ambush. God, do I love that. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened enough over the last few weeks, but I do have one clip that I need to record, and this was real recent on the stream, just a couple, well, yeah, the other night, a couple nights ago, and you guys aren't going to believe the shit that happens with the Minotaur. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But here I am in the Furitaka under the alternate alternate account. There we go. Finally getting the words out. So this is Captain Double Strike, and this was I forget. I think wave number 5, which we were using tier 5 ships, and this was a lot of fun. The only other one I was able to end up doing, I was trying to hopefully get them into wave 7, but I could only end up doing wave 8, which was tier 8, and I didn't have very much fun with that at all. Part of the limitation there was that we didn't have 19-point captains, we had 10-point captains, so that was kind of a bit of a problem there, as far as trying to make sure that we were, or at least I'm only going to speak for myself, that we were still, or I was still a valuable member of the team, and I'm holding off here against the T-22 because I need to make sure that I actually have the chance for a double strike here. So this is how deeply I think about this shit. So we smoke it up, go ahead, kill him, whatever, right about the time that the torps are most definitely going to kill the October Revolution, but we detonate him, so
We've got 2 of them.
Hell yeah, there we go. And by the way, this pirate voiceover is hilarious, but no, it was a lot of fun though with the tier 5 ships. It felt really good to just mess around with these, and this event has actually caused me to play more tier 5, which is something you'll be seeing in some of the upcoming videos. I've been really enjoying some of the random ships. I've played the Furitaka a few times. I've been playing the Omaha. Wait till you see some of that stuff. What else? Of course, the Nicholas, the Kirov, which is basically an overpen machine for me. It's just, damn. I want to love that ship. I can't, man. When I should be citadeling an enemy ship off the map, it just overpens. And we had a few scenarios there where I should have absolutely annihilated like a few cruisers on, you know, multiple salvos, and it just didn't happen. And here's the Furitaka's limitation. Here is the terrible reload on it. But then again, I mean, this ship has incredibly good guns at this tier, so you know, so does the Kirov, and I really don't think any of the other cruisers at this tier are able to be discounted. I think they all have pretty solid guns. It's just depending on the range. The Furitaka holds its shell pen very well, so does the Kirov, obviously, both of those being a bit oversized compared to the, well, relatively speaking, compared to the rest of the tier 5 ships. But, yeah, with this whole thing, if, I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with it. Basically, if you sank me or any of the other captains or the crew, the pirate crew members that also had their accounts going, basically you would earn rewards. If you killed a captain, such as me, or basically any of the CCs that were involved in this, or any of the like employees from Wargaming that were involved with this, they were captains, so they had greater rewards if you sank them. And then the pirate crew members were just volunteers, and they would have, you know, a different set of rewards. Well, I didn't want to give it up because I didn't want to have my team blame me for a loss. And I know that happened anyways, but whatever. And in this scenario, looking at it and talking about it right now, I could have easily just let this guy kill me and therefore, you know, had him earn some rewards. I'm just a bit too competitive for that.
We've destroyed a battleship.
So with the tier 5 part, I survived almost all of the battles. I was sunk a couple times, or I think 3 times actually. But with the tier 8 one, I think I survived only one of the battles. Maybe 2. So, and I played 13 games each time. So, yeah, there's a bit of a difference there. But with the tier 8 stuff, managed to get focused a lot more. And that was hard because, you know, you had to give up something because of the fact that it wasn't a 19-point captain. So if you wanted to run a fun build with secondaries, you were always going to give up your concealment, that sort of thing. So it was a lot easier for people to reach out and dev strike you and you know, corner you into a bad position. But speaking of a bad position, I have whiffed salvo after salvo of torpedoes against this Phoenix, who is just doing a great job dancing around. And look at this shit. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm not gonna be able to hit him. And then he sends his torps. And look at this.
Off to a great start.
That was close. So Wakataki, unfortunately for him, fires at the torpedo lead indicator as opposed to ahead of it. I'm trying to account for all sorts of crap here. So I just fill the ocean with torps, and that's one of the beautiful things about a ship like the Dursky. You can just spam the shit out of this type of stuff. So we just swing back, and we got a Kohlberg over here. Just enough time to get that torp spread off. Really wish I got more. And just a fast, furious situation here in Solomon Islands, which is a pretty damn good map for a lot of ships, I think, at this tier. But that would have been fun to get a dev strike on him. Just to go 3 for 3, that would have been rad, especially with how fast that happened. But the party boat. This is a stream favorite, and for reasons that you're going to see over the next, well, this video and then, you know, subsequent videos in the future. I play this a lot, the Akotnik. It's fun as shit. It's really, really bad though in some situations, and mainly the one is if you have to try to maneuver in any way, shape, or form, this ship is going to let you down. And it's got I think it's an 830 meter turning radius for a tier 5 destroyer. Holy shit, do you realize how bad that is? It is, oh my god, that is horrendous. And I was trying to obviously reset on the Gremiashi there in the cap, but you know, also throw some more damage his way just because of the fact that it's a dangerous ship. And unfortunately managed to get it bounced there. I was hoping to get him a little bit more flat, and I'm just sticking with AP because I was hoping to have a better chance there against the enemy cruisers, but should have just stuck with HE, obviously, as that can generate some pretty damn solid salvos against enemy destroyers. But we're not letting him off the hook just yet, and that looks like a good shot, but it's only 1 shell hit, which that sucks. But I decide to say, screw it, you know what, I'm going to turn back around. I'm going to see if I can press in against this a little bit more, because I don't want the Gremiashi to get away, but there's also a potential opportunity there with the Kirov moving up the flank, and we're just going to see how this goes. So I'm expecting shots coming in from the Texas or the Omaha, so I'm keeping an eye out for that, and I'm just basically watching the Kirov here, just seeing if seeing how his behavior changes, seeing me coming towards him, because that'll dictate what I do, obviously. So close call there against from the Texas, and he doesn't seem to really give a damn that I was last seen steaming right towards him. And I think that might be a scenario of him not really paying attention to the minimap and like, you know, being stuck in artillery zoom. So unfortunately I didn't fire the rest of my guns at the same time as my 2 front guns, so it was just a couple degrees off, which is annoying, but whatever. But Citadels, man, this ship has monstrous AP shell pen for this tier. It is so damn good. So I think at 5 kilometers, it's something like it's close to 120 millimeters of AP shell pen. It's basically double that of something like an Izyaslav at the same range. It's pretty damn good. So if you can get alongside a light cruiser, you're going to do some serious damage to them with AP. And thankfully those ran out. I figured he wasn't going to be able to get those torps into range, but that was way closer than I was expecting as well. So the Gremyashi peeked out a little bit here, and this is pretty much a do or die situation. Proper HVK, so look back in time to see... Oh shit. Ooh, that was close. Puckered up my butthole. And got multiple Citadels against the Omaha. I was hoping to finish him off right there as we tried to draw in closer against the Texas, setting up a potential double strike here as we finish him off. And I really don't have a lot of luck in these positions here, like crossing somebody's T with torps, but it worked out, and we got a nice solid double strike out of that. Also, notice the position of my teammates that are well north of A. Yeah, this looks like it's totally in hand for us, right? As this Gremyashi comes around and finally gets unbeached himself. And there he is. Pull the trigger, wipe him out. We won the flank there. Pretty much on our own. And as that match went on, I had a really close call with an enemy Nicholas, and then got taken out myself by this is a cruiser, I think. Anyways, the cruisers that were to the north there, they almost lost the match for us. I can't believe how some matches, if you die, it's almost guaranteed to be a loss. You know, and then other matches, it doesn't make any bit of difference at all. And, you know, that's how it goes. But, man, it can be frustrating as hell watching some of those, those matches where you're like, you've got it in hand, and then it just somehow is magically slipping away. But one of the things that you got to do with the Okhotnik is you got to reserve the speed boost for when you're in smoke, and because the torps are definitely going to be coming. And I know there's a shitload of destroyers here, and there's the Monahan who's spotting us, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is great. And suddenly I get hit by what's obviously another destroyer. So throwing torps into the area where I'm thinking the other destroyer is. I don't know how close he is, but that's when the Fubuki shows up and I lose about half my health. And unfortunately for him, he creeps out a bit, gets spotted. I do some damage to him with the guns and followed up with the Death Strike on the torps. Hell yeah. Alright. So, moving ahead a little bit. Monahan's coming up, and at this point I'm just hoping that he's still on his reload. So he praised the horn. Alright. 2 for 2 on enemy destroyers. I'm okay with this. And we damn near got this New Mexico too. It was super, super close. But anyhow, so moving forward here, there's a Gatey around here somewhere. And this is not a scenario that I wanted to have play out at all. Because the Gatey obviously has Hydra, and it's a ship that's just way more equipped to be a destroyer than something like this. And to me, that's more than enough. I mean, look at this. Look at this horrendous turning radius. And, I mean, I'm still Hydroed and everything. I'm just doing that for when I get out of his Hydro range. You know, I can possibly use that to my advantage somehow. But, anyhow, torps are going in.
Enemy destroyer found green set.
Cool. 3 dev strikes on 3 enemy destroyers. That's worth a lot. So, anyhow, moving on to another match, pretty much the same exact position and everything, so that's pretty cool, except that it's standard battle. Again, this ship, I think a lot of people underestimate the quality and potential of 4.5 kilometer torps in regards to ambushing and or how to make them work. And basically you have to be suicidal as shit, and you have to, of course, like, I mean, you can still ambush in open water, you just have to be really careful. It's a lot of luck, of course, and if you can, you know, work around islands, then by all means do that. But you're really going to feel, look at those sits, you're really going to feel the lack of mobility with this ship, and it's just one thing you got to be careful of. One way or another, the ship is really vulnerable in a lot of scenarios, but it's such an incredible burst damage type of ship for a tier 5 ship that you know, you can't be ignored. So take a look at the enemy destroyer back there. I actually can't quite make out what the hell it is, as I dump panic torps and everything. Looks like a Butsuki. So throw my shells over to him, expecting a sweet double strike here as we nuke the Miyogi. Nope, missed him. Still get a double strike though. I didn't expect that.
We've got 2 of them.
And yet I can't get one hit on that damn destroyer.
Our team has taken the lead.
What the hell is that? I totally thought that was in the bag, and so I was super disappointed, and now I'm pissed. I'm gonna take my rage out on this enemy Koenig up here. And again, this is one of those things that in this situation, a lot of people would complain that there's nothing they can do with this ship because of the short range torps. That strictly depends on how willing you are to get close to an enemy, and also how lucky that enemy, or how good the shot of that enemy is. You know, if a battleship rolls really good dispersion, then it's probably not going to matter if you're that close or another 7 kilometers away. Or in this case, if he just manages to miss you by a little bit, as this is a pretty slender ship overall, it can lead to some pretty good spots as far as being able to get those torps out and into the side of an enemy and hopefully get them killed. So wanted to hunt down this enemy Pan-Asian DD that had gone back to their cap to presumably reset and everything. And I know he's in here. He's shooting into the smoke, well, from the smoke, and it's only a matter of time before his smoke starts to dissipate, as it's a pretty short duration. And I'm not going to give him that. I'm going to blanket the shit out of the smoke with torps, because that's what the Akatna can do. And again, it's the weird thing about the ship. Even though they're 4.5 kilometer torps, there's a lot of situations where they feel like they're sort of longer range. It all depends on the engagement, but I'm expecting the kill, and I get it. So
Enemy destroyer foundered.
that was a fun one though. But moving on to our last clip. So check this one out. There's a lot of British destroyers over here. So there's a Gallant off to the right, and on my team, and just ahead of me there's a Lightning, so tier 8 Royal Navy destroyer, and that's in testing, or it was at the time of this video. And then there's an Icarus, which is, I believe, the tier 6 Royal Navy destroyer, and also in testing. And the enemy also has a New Orleans up there, so on and so forth. It's going to be an interesting fight over here, because I have no idea. Like, if you lose a flank, and especially if that flank has a number of enemy destroyers on it, that's a really, really hard thing for a team to come back from, because especially in this case, with it being standard battle, you got to protect the cap, and that means that our team is now going to have to pull back from the other side and the middle to cover the flank, or I'm sorry, the cap, to reduce the risk of losing the game, of course. So of course I guess that's more of an idealistic way of looking at it, because that's what should happen. It's a lot of times what doesn't happen. And you know, as far as teams just ignoring the standard battle situation. So anyways, there's New Orleans here, there's Dallas as well, and I had to fade away because I didn't really know what else we were dealing with here. And the Lightning decides to kind of stay up front, and I do have a 19-point captain that runs IFHE on this. It's the same captain I swap between this and the Atlanta. It works really, really well, and I love how the ship feels with IFHE and this particular captain. So looks like we're gonna have our hands full here. The Lightning goes down, and the gallant has run away. So it's me to hold this flank. Shit. So, trying to look for the opportunity here to use AP. The New Orleans is finally bringing his turrets around against me, and I'm feeling a little paranoid here. I'm pretty pissed that I only got one Citadel there. I was really hoping that we'd be able to ace him on that salvo, and I switched back to HE and then back to AP, and I know it's only a matter of time. I've got my Hydro going. I know it's only a matter of time before Torps are coming. Sure enough, there they are. So, respond to that, and I'm gonna have to risk going broadside to the New Orleans and that sweet 203mm heavy AP, sorry, but managed to take him out, as now we got to deal with 3 more targets. Okay, so those Torps are going to go wild off, like way behind us, so that doesn't matter, which is good. So we only have to really focus on 2 things now. We've got the Dallas and the Icarus here. So I've lost a fair bit of health. I got my AP loaded against the Dallas, who's broadside. Solid result. And I'm going to maneuver in, start bringing my turrets, my rear turrets around. I'm actually shooting off to just to the right, so my rear turrets weren't swinging around towards the port side. But now we got to worry about the Icarus and his torque reload and everything, but get a solid hit there against him, and staying bow forward against the Dallas, keeping our guns to bear on the Icarus. That's always the more important target compared to a light cruiser such as the Dallas. Switch to AP, drive-by. Beautiful. So switch back to HE. We're still detected because of our detection, firing, smoke, and all that, so he's going to be able to see us, and or because of the fact that the other DD could see us, but doesn't matter. That's how you win the flank. Thank you for watching today, everybody. I will see you back here next time. Take care.